Hi, and welcome to A History of Klerksdorp, Part 1. I've been a resident of Klerksdorp for more than 10 years, and the history has always fascinated me. It is colourful, to say the least, but I also discovered very few people know about the history, and the little bit that I know, I thought was a lot, until I actually went and delved in and did some reading. Klerksdorp as a town started on a farm called Elandsheuvel in 1837 when 12 voortrekker families settled here. Originally the farm had belonged to a man called Hendrik Grobler, and he agreed with the voortrekkers that if they help him to build a irrigation channel and a dam in the Skoonspruit. Now Skoonspruit means clean stream, and the farm name was Elandsheuvel, meaning hill of the eland. And the voortrekkers agreed, well, we'll help you build the dam in the Skoonspruit and your irrigation channel. And in exchange for that, he gave them part of the land on the banks of the Skoonspruit, in the part which we now know as Oudorp, which is the oldest part of Klerksdorp, which still exists. There are many old houses still there. Those plots of land were subdivided. The original plots, as far as I've been able to find out, were divided into 300-meter wide, and in some places, depending on how the river and the stream flowed, up to 600 meters long. So substantial plots, but not farms. They were called erven at the time. One of the original people that ended up here, one of the original settlers, was Jacob de Klerk, who later became magistrate in the area, actually magistrate of Potchefstroom, and he was the first magistrate in the Transvaal. Klerksdorp started in 1837, which is only 2 years after the Great Trek started. The Great Trek lasted from 1835 until 1846. Yes, 11 years. A lot of people are under the impression the Great Trek was a single event or one or two quick events in a year or two. The Great Trek was a big process over a period of 11 years that the voortrekkers wanted to get away from British rule. Some of the very earliest ones ended up here. It is thought that these 12 families that ended up in Klerksdorp may have been part of the original Potgieter group that moved out of the Cape Colony at the time. In my research, I discovered quite a number of sources explaining how Klerksdorp started and their own pieces of history. However, a lot of the history from these various sources was very contradictory, including the starting of the town. Some sources state that the original farm, Elandsheuvel, belonged to a man called C.M. de Plooi. Now, the CM is for Cornelius Michiel. However, that cannot be correct because C.M. de Plooi was also the son-in-law of Jacob de Klerk, after whom the town was named. So it wouldn't gel and it doesn't make sense. Why would C.M. de Klerk at a later stage then sell off part of his farm to Hendrik Grobler? It doesn't make sense. So when we put these pieces of history together, we discover that there are certain elements that make sense and others not, including dates, etc. So I started a completely new research project trying to discover who has the most accurate information. And I discovered that an old curator of the Klerksdorp Museum is considered the most trustworthy source because he actually was asked by the town council during the centenary and 150-year celebrations to do proper research on the history of Klerksdorp and how Klerksdorp started. This man was called Rolf Marx. Rolf Marx published a book called Klerksdorp, Groeiende Reus. Now, Groeiende Reus means growing giant, 1837 to 1987. Now, this book was commissioned by the town council of Klerksdorp. So they wanted him to make absolutely sure of all the facts. And this man is still alive and living in Klerksdorp today. And just this morning, less than an hour ago, I actually spoke to him on the phone. And I hope to do some interviews in a few weeks, get him to tell me a bit about the history of Klerksdorp. Because, you know, he was curator of the Klerksdorp Museum and very interested in the town. And I think that the history that he can give us will be very interesting. But until then, I will be working with most information from this book, but also other places where I might be able to find some. I would like to give a few more videos like this with information about Klerksdorp, so that those interested worldwide or even Klerksdorp residents can learn more about Klerksdorp and its history. Subscribe to the channel so that you can get a notification, if you click that notification bell, on when the videos get uploaded. And I hope to see you soon in the next one.